Greg Davis is set to kick it away for the Atlanta Falcons, and we are underway at sold-out Mile High Stadium. This is Ken Bell at his 5-yard line. Hit at the 22, and Jesse Tuggle, number 58. Macias and Rick Bryan, the linebackers. They have those bookend rookies at the outside. Andre Bruce and Marcus Cotton with John Rady and Joel Williams on the inside. And in the secondary, Bobby Butler, Scott Case at the corners, Brett Clark, Robert Moore at the safety. First down at the 22. In motion comes tight end Clarence Kay, and Elway will throw to this side. The Teal out over the 30 and close to first down yardage. Scott Case, number 25, coming up to make the tackle. Here's how the Denver Broncos line up on offense. Behind Elway, Tony Dorsett, number 2 all-time rusher in the National Football League, and Sammy Winder will be with him. Ricky Nattiel and Vance Johnson, the wide receivers, and Clarence Kay at tight end. On the offensive line, Jim Juriga, Keith Bishop playing with a broken left thumb, Billy Bryan, Keith Kartz, and Ken Lanier. Gain of 9 on the play, 2nd and 1, and a double tight end setup now for Denver. Number 89, Orson Mobley is in, and Sammy Winder, the lone setback. Give is to Winder. Winder has the first down.
Back finally, and I look for him to play better today.
Both Nattiel and Johnson to the near side, but to the far side, Dorsett gets nothing, and in fact, may have lost a little. We'll take a look.
All-around tight end.
Wide receivers flank to the bottom of your screen on 2nd and 10. Elway with time, out of the backfield, Dorsett. Dorsett brought down by Joel Williams at about the 30. And 2 more defensive backs in for Atlanta. 22, Charles Dimmery, 41, Tim Gordon. Elway out of the shotgun. Runs it up the middle, and he's hit and brought down just across the 35 to about the 37. 76, Mike Gann. 77, Rick Bryan in for the stop, and it's a loss of 2.
That's the
punt this year. And back deep for Atlanta is number 85, Lou Barnes. It comes down at about the 13. Barnes to the 20, to the 25, and he is brought down there. So Dills in for the injured Chris Miller. Here's the defense he will look at. Walt Boyer starting for the injured Freddie Gilbert at left defensive end. Greg Cragen on the nose. Andre Townsend on the other side. Simon Fletcher, Rick Dennison, Carl Mecklenburg, and Jim Ryan make up a good core of linebackers. In the secondary, Haynes and Wilson on the corners. Mike Harden, Randy Robbins at safety. First down, Floyd Dixon is in motion, and Dills will throw. To the far side is Primus, and Primus gets up to about the 27 before he is hit and brought down.
Unlike the Atlanta Falcons defense that plays zone, you're going to see a lot of jumping around by the Broncos.
Here's the Atlanta offense. Dills at the quarterback, John Settle and James Primus, the running backs. Stacey Bailey, the NFL's leading receiver in yards per catch, and Floyd Dixon are the wideouts, and Ken Wisenhunt, the tight end. Mike Ken, John Scully, Wayne Radloff, Bill Fralick, and Houston Hoover, the rookie, on the offensive line. Tyrone Braxton in as a 5th defensive back, but the run is John Settle, number 44. And Michael Haynes, the rookie out of Northern Arizona, is in as a 3rd wide receiver as Dills looks to throw. Out of the backfield is Settle. He makes the catch out over the 35, and that's an Atlanta first down. Lang is now into the Atlanta backfield. He, of course, a veteran of the fans and the crowds here in Denver. Spent his first 4 years in the NFL here. 1st and 10. Dills with a little play action. Again, Settle with the reception and drops the ball. And no one in the league has done better than that so far this year.
Talked to him yesterday. Looks like a big Joe Morris to me.
Settle and Lang behind Dills on 2nd and 10. Dills again to the side. This time it's Ken Wisenhunt, the tight end, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the 40. Now at the 40, and Lang is in motion. Big rush. The pass out to Wisenhunt, makes the catch, but comes up short of first down yardage at about the 43-yard line. Steve Wilson, number 45, coming up to make the hit on the number 47, Gerald Wilhite, back at his own 15-yard line to receive Donnelly's kick, and he hangs up a good one.
Nice one.
Fair catch called for by Wilhite at his own 14-yard line. 43-yard punt by Rick Donnelly, who is the NFL's best punter last season.
And the important part about that 43-yard kick is that it hangs. And they tend to run. They have strong run and pass tendencies based on which backs they have.
High formation in Tony Dorsett is the deep back. Kay is in motion. And Dorsett gets the football.
They line those people up over on the sidelines so that the opposing team, in this case the Atlanta Falcons, can't get their situation substitution people in the game.
Gain of 5 out to about 19. It'll be 2nd and 5. There you see one of the great veterans.
What a player he's been for an awful long time, over 13,000 yards. He really likes it here in Denver. We talked to him yesterday, and he likes the atmosphere here. He likes working with Dan Reeves. He likes his teammates. He's interested in the communications business, and he's had business offers in that direction. He's enjoying himself here.
2nd and 5 from the 19. High formation again. Elway will play fake out of this one. Sideline pattern, and ball flipped into the air and incomplete. Intended for 84, Ricky Nattiel. Looked like a little game of volleyball going on for a while.
Great job by Bobby Butler on that side over there. He give a little play fake to hold the backers. You're going to see it right here. Elway comes out. You see him give the hand to Tony Dorsett. And they're throwing it to the best defensive back they have. Bobby Butler is the best cover guy, and here you see the reason why. He's beaten, and he gets his arm in, snatches the ball out of there. Bobby Butler, best cover guy that Atlanta has in the secondary.
The rap against John Elway this year has been that he's trying to force it. And we asked John yesterday, have you been trying to force it? Yeah, somewhat.
He really has. He's such a great player that he thinks he can do everything, and I think he's been trying to do too much.
3rd and 5 from the 19. 2 more. Atlanta defense is backs in, and it appears the Falcons have jumped offside. The pass out in intended, falling incomplete.
Mark Jackson, was it?
Elway in the I formation. Tony Dorsett goes for first down yardage across the 25 to about the 28 as we welcome those of you who have been watching the Chicago Bears-Dallas Cowboys game and watching the Bears defeat the Cowboys by a score of 17-7. Here we have 8 minutes remaining to be played here in the first quarter of a scoreless game, an exchange of punts, and the Denver Broncos have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line. Greg Dumble along with Ken Stabler and John Elway trying to get the Denver Broncos above the 500 mark for the first time this season. Across the 30, out to about the 31, the 32 perhaps. Joel Williams, number 54, making the tackle. Gain of 3 on the play.
Big game last week for Sammy Winder. He is the best back that they have when they use the one-back set. They like to use Tony Dorsett when he has a lead blocker. Last week, Sammy Winder was the main back in the situation, gained almost 100 yards. I think he did gain 100 yards against the San Francisco 49ers. And he is their H-back or one-back type of running back they have.
Winder is the lone back behind Elway now, and Orson Mobley is the second tight end in the lineup for the Broncos. On 2nd and 7, Elway on the slant in, incomplete, intended for Vance Johnson. Looked like Johnson may have tripped a little bit before the ball arrived.
He stumbled a little bit, but that's the tight pass that John Elway has completed in his last 2 or 3 years that he's been so successful at, and that's the things they're not doing now. Whether it's the lack of the same group of receivers every week, whether Elway's timing is off. They say that his elbow has been bothering. We talked to him yesterday, and that injury hasn't affected his throwing. It's a combination of things, the reason John Elway has been inefficient.
The highly publicized Three Amigos in the lineup for Denver now as Mark Jackson joins Nattiel and Johnson. Elway out of the shotgun. Plenty of time. Over the middle, and he's got Nattiel. Nattiel at midfield for a first down. Gain of 19 yards on the play, and Robert Moore was there to make the hit.
Well, that's the thing they're going to have to do. This is the thing right here. They're going to see a lot of zones. They're going to have to find those passing lanes, those seams. Here they find it. Elway zips the ball. You see it go right between the linebackers. There's Robert Moore, the strong safety, number 34. Nattiel goes up, makes a nice catch.
Ball just across midfield now and into Atlanta territory. 1st and 10 for the Broncos. Winder, the running back behind Elway. Elway will throw again. Lots of time. Finally throws to Nattiel on the sidelines, and he's out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. Gain of 3 on the play. Joel Williams there to make the hit.
Well, you get guys that are going to play those zones like that. You get Bobby Butler, who's going to give Natil 7 or 8 yards off that on the outside out there, and you have a quarterback out there that can zip the ball. Watch this. He throws a strike. Here you get a little bit of a late hit, looks like on the outside. Nice job by Natil. There it is right there. Probably unnecessary.
Didn't know you were wearing your stripes under your jacket.
I got a striped shirt today. I may throw a flag before this game's over.
Gain of 3 makes it 2nd and 7 from the 46. Elway throwing again. Pulls it back, plenty of time, and now has Clarence Kay over the middle, losing the football and picked up by Atlanta. Joel Williams has the ball, and Atlanta has the ball at its own 21.
The very thing that's been troubling the Broncos all year is that type thing. Elway hasn't played as well as he can. The defense has given up a lot of yards rushing. They've had fumbles and things like that. Another way to...
Falcons have control, 1st and 10, their own 21-yard line. John Settle and James Primus behind Dills, and Settle gets the call. Second year out of Appalachian State. On 2nd and 3, Dills rolling to the near side, looks back the other way, and overthrows Settle. The 28-yard line for Atlanta. And Settle is the lone back. Wisenhunt in motion. Settle does not get the first down. Tyrone Braxton, number 34, coming up from the side. Will Height at the 30. To the 40, or close to it. 42-yard punt, 10-yard
right there. That's my class picture my senior year in high school. That guy right there is an old retired QB. Hey, John.
Newly retired QB. Welcome back to Denver, everybody. 4:26 to play here in the first quarter. Greg Gumbel along with Ken Stabler. And what we've seen so far is an exchange of punts and perhaps some tougher defense than we expected to see, particularly on the part of Atlanta.
I think right now Atlanta has to be pleased with keeping the game exactly the way it is now. Close. There's no score. They're playing Denver extremely well. I think this all works in favor of Atlanta and try to keep Elway frustrated.
Vance Johnson to the near side, Ricky Natil to the far side. Winder and Dorsett behind Elway as they come off the sideline huddle on first down. Elway with time again, throwing out for Dorsett off of his hands and out of bounds.
Well, that particular play, John Elway gives the first look to Natil coming on a slant type pattern. If he's covered, he dumps the ball off to his back coming out to the right side. They played good by the Atlanta Falcons, and I think they have to be pleased with the way that they're playing right now.
I think John Elway got a little exercise in dumping the ball off with the incredible pressure put on him last week by the 49ers.
You know, if you look at that pressure, all of it was from the outside, too, and that's the way people play John Elway, is don't let him get outside where he can improvise.
Number 30, Steve Sewell, is in the game for the first time, and he's flanked to the top of your screen for Denver. Atlanta jumping, flags fly. Elway throwing and got his man. Clarence Kay across the Atlanta 35 to about the 32. A pickup of 28 yards, and we'll check the flag with referee Red Cashin.
Offside, defense, penalty is declined, first down.
Well, here's a shot of it right here. You're going to see Clarence Kay. Right now they give him the jump. That's the penalty, which gives them a free play, and that's what they want. And what they do is they get their tight end, number 88, Kay, in the seam. You see Elway delivering a strike with a lot of people hanging all over him, and he can throw the ball. His arm is not bothering him at all. Great velocity on the football.
Elway is getting tremendous time to throw this afternoon in the early going. 4:05 to play first quarter, first down Denver. Elway with time again. Hits Dorsett, and Dorsett across the 30. And the rookie Marcus Cotton out of Southern Cal, Atlanta's number 2 draft choice, makes the stop after a gain of 4.
Tony Dorsett going to play a much bigger role today. We talked to Dan Reeves and also John Elway this past couple of days, and they're going to get the ball in his hands more than they have. It's not a factor at all last week in San Francisco. He'll touch the ball a lot today, whether it be swing pass, draw, screen, whatever.
As he clips 3,500 yards now receiving in his great career. Elway now 7 of 10 throwing for 90 yards on second down and 7. Mobley in motion. Elway, plenty of time again, goes for the end zone and overthrows Natil. Kenny, you quarterbacks have that clock going in your heads all the time. They must be ringing bells like crazy because Elway has plenty of time.
Well, what he tries to do is he tries to pump the free safety. When he pumps to his right, he tries to pump the free safety out of there and try to get Natil in behind him on a post-type route, and he just guns it a little bit too much, a little overthrown. That's the type pass that he's made the last couple of years, not making it this year.
4 wide receivers now in the game for Denver and 6 defensive backs for Atlanta on 3rd down. Jackson is in motion. Out of the shotgun. Elway on the move. Eludes one tackler and gets a first down near the 20-yard line. Gain of 9, first down Denver. Exactly what the Broncos did not want him to do.
That's exactly the Falcons.
For the Falcons.
That's right. When people play John Elway, if he's going to run the ball, they want to make him run the ball up in the middle, up into where the linebackers are. Here you see they lose containment. Gann loses containment. He gets outside, and when he gets outside, here's what he does the best. He buys a lot of time, great athletic ability, great feet, knows where the first down marker is. Tremendous athlete.
First down. This is Calvin Town. This is Dorsett. Dorsett across the 20 and down to about the 18, maybe the 17. Jesse Tuggle on the tackle after a gain of 2. Along with Ken Stabler, I'm Greg Gumbel. We are at Sold Out Mile High Stadium, 76,273. Broncos have sold out for the 19th straight season here at home.
I've been in here many a time, and every time you come in here, the first thing you see is that huge white horse up on his haunches and a sea of orange.
Lots of orange. Woo. Second down and 7. Dorsett and Winder in the backfield. And Johnson in motion. Elway wants to throw it. Tipped coming out of the backfield, and it falls incomplete. 51, Marcus Cotton, coming in from his outside linebacker spot to tip the ball.
Marcus Cotton. That's what he does best as a linebacker. He rushes the passer a little bit better than the rest of the linebackers, and that's how they use him right there. You see him, he beats Dorsett. Dorsett's responsibility, gets to Elway, deflects the pass. You like that matchup when you can get a guy like Marcus Cotton and ask a guy like Tony Dorsett to block him. That's a little bit of a mismatch. That's a match that the Atlanta Falcons would like. There's that white horse.
There's your friend.
There's that guy.
3rd and 4. 3rd and 7. From the 17, out of the shotgun, Elway, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Mark Jackson. Jackson, coming off of IR for this game, suffered a broken collarbone, has a little trouble reaching for the football, and you may have seen the results there.
You bet. He has to expect that ball, though, exactly where he got it. That ball, when you throw the ball on the outside, you want to keep it on the outside of the receiver. And watch where John Elway throws this ball. Straight drop back. You see Will Height, 47 in front of him, giving the time. Look where the ball is. It's on the outside, exactly where the ball should be, on the outside. The receiver has his body between the defender and the ball. He has to expect it there and come up with that.
So Rich Carlos on to attempt a 35-yard field goal. He is 4 for 7 between the 30 and 39 this year. This one is long enough, but no good. So with 1:28 to play here in the first quarter, it is still scoreless. The Falcons and the Broncos shooting blunt first and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
A lot of people up there this time.
Settle and Primus in the backfield. Settle. Gain of 3. Simon Fletcher in on the tackle, making a gain of 4.
Yeah, glad to have the coach back. What a tough old cuss he is.
Giants a winner over the Detroit Lions, 30-10. Dills will throw it on second down. Time to throw. He's got a man, and that's Wisenhunt. Wisenhunt near midfield, and a first down for Atlanta. Clock running down now to about 15 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Gene Lang in the backfield for the Falcons. And coming around is Floyd Gibson. Lose one tackler, trying to get outside and won't get there. Andre Townsend stayed home, made the play as time ran out. And with no gain on the play, that brings the first quarter to an end. End of one. Second quarter about to begin from Denver. Atlanta nothing. The Broncos nothing.
As they've been most of the year.
Second down from their own 49. Dills looks to throw and has it batted back into his face. And he had number 82, Stacy. The Falcons will wear that number, dedicating the remainder of the season to David Prudhomme. 3rd and 10. Dills under the gun, escapes once, looking for room to move and can't get away. Carl Mecklenburg, one of the first Broncos 20-yard line. Fox stops with 14:42 to play here in the second quarter. We are scoreless at Mile High Stadium. Winder and Dorsett will line up behind Elway. Mark Jackson and Vance Johnson are in at wide receiver positions now. I formation. Dorsett the deep back. Dorsett gets the football and tripped up as he got to the line of scrimmage on a nice play by Rick Bryan, number 77.
Well, he got penetration. The reason that happened, you see Rick Bryan right there. He made penetration on the left tackle, Jim Jariga. And when you get that kind of penetration, you cause a lot of problems in the backfield.
You quarterbacks hate it when those defensive guys
you got to keep those guys up there in the neutral zone or pass back to the other side of the neutral zone if you're going to be efficient in the run or the pass.
Double tight end now as Orson Mobley joins Clarence Kay in the Bronco lineup on 2nd and 8. Elway with a roll, and he's being chased and throws and hits Mobley. And Mobley is brought down at about the 23, 24-yard line. Maybe even the 25. John Rady, number 59, there to make the play after a gain of 4 for Atlanta. And once again, the Denver Bronco fans up in arms.
Well, here's the reason. Elway releases the ball to Mobley. You see right there, Orson Mobley catches the ball. Now watch John Rady, number 59. There you see Andre Bruce going to hold him up. Now here comes a shot right out of the right there. Watch a little extra coming right here from Rady, number 59. Bang! Right there. That's Excedrin number 59.
The bell ringer. 3rd and 4. Number 83, Sam Grady in the lineup. Elway works out of the shotgun. To the side. Intended for Will Height, and a terrific catch by Will Height at the 30, and it appears he has enough for the first down. Bobby Butler came in at about the same time the football did.
Well, there you see John Elway. He's trying to get some instructions from the sidelines, but here's the play right here, and he throws the ball the exact place you have to throw it. The ball is thrown low into the outside, with a nice diving catch by Will Height, probably the best receiver. He and Sewell coming out of the backfield for the Broncos.
Calvin Thomas joins Dorsett in the backfield now on 1st down from the 30. Neither team able to dent the end zone just yet. Elway with a deep drop this time, with time to throw to the near side, and he's got a receiver out of bounds. Vance Johnson for the first down inside the Falcon 40. Pickup of 32 yards.
Well, you know, in order to get that kind of play that'll gain 32 yards, you have to have an awful lot of time. It looked like that Vance Johnson came from all the way on the other side of the field. He did. He came from John Elway's left, crosses all the way across the field. You have to have an awful lot of time. Here shows John Elway's touch on the ball. He dumps the ball right over Rady's head. Nice throw, nice catch. Now they're in business.
Vance Johnson came into this game 425 yards receiving. Elway's favorite receiver so far this year. Elway with a quick pop over the middle, in and out of the hands of Clarence Kay.
Nice read by Elway that time. You see he's disappointed in the throw. Would like to have that one back. He chose the right receiver, wide open in that zone. Just needs to make that throw. But as we keep saying, that's the play that John Elway has made the last 2 or 3 years. He's not making this year. And it's been for various reasons. Different receivers, the loss of their coaches, the zones. He's not a good zone-type quarterback. He would rather play against man-to-man.
Elway now 10 of 17, 131 yards on the day. On 2nd and 10 from the 38. Sewell going around the left side, and Marcus Cotton says, Good play by the rookie from Southern Cal. And a loss of 6 on the play.
Well, if you're going to run those type things, the reverse, the trick plays, the gadget plays, you do them at a guy like this. You try to find where the rookie is and run them at him. Nice job of staying at home. That means staying in his area and watching for things like that. Nice job by the rookie.
You know what that was? That was a cotton club. Anytime Marcus Cotton,
the cotton club?
Anytime Marcus Cotton throws a guy for a loss, it's a cotton club, according to Marcus. 3rd and 16. And another penalty flag. It appears the Falcons were offside, and Elway goes long and complete and out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Ricky Natile with a fine catch. Robert Moore was there, and Scott Case is arguing.
Can't throw it any better. You just cannot throw this ball any better. He gets the pass protection. There he is in the shotgun. Look at the pass protection. Plenty of time. Elway steps up. He's got a week to throw the ball.
That penalty is declined. The catch is awarded because he was pushed out of bounds.
They say that the momentum took him out. His momentum carried him out, so it's complete.
I think it's immaterial because Ricky Natile got both feet down in bounds anyway. Andre Bruce offside. That penalty declined. First down at the 15-yard line. And Elway beginning to rack up the yardage through the air.
Well, you know it's only a matter of time. You're not going to stop him forever. You can't hold him down. He's going to get his sooner or later. When he gets all of his players, he's tough.
Double tight end, Mobley in motion. Winder lone back behind Elway. The pitch for Winder and the give to Vance Johnson. Elway throwing a block out in front, and all of that will net maybe a yard. We'll call it a gain of 1 and 2nd and 9. You don't see too many of those high-priced quarterbacks out there throwing blocks, except maybe you and John Elway.
Yeah, well, all quarterbacks are real physical people, real good blockers, and you try to use them to block as much as you possibly can, but I think throwing would probably be his strength.
But most quarterbacks would fall into those categories. 2nd and 9, 11:20 to play, first half. And again, Winder lone back behind Elway. Elway looks to his left, slant pattern, touchdown, Mark Jackson. Gone 4 weeks with a broken collarbone. Mark Jackson comes back with a bang.
Well, you got to get somebody in Elway's face. They don't do that. Watch, he stands back there. They've got the defense pinned on the line. And when you let him stand back there and you let a guy like Mark Jackson run in those throwing lanes, and you take that strong arm and throw that strike, you're going to ring the meter occasionally.
Carlos, 11 for 11 on points after this year. Now 12 for 12. 11 minutes, 12 seconds to play first half. And the Broncos draw first blood. Back to receive Gene Lang and Michael Haynes. And 41, Tim Gordon. And Gordon will hold it in the end zone. And a pretty good boot by Carlos with the win. That's how the Broncos did it. 81 yards in just 3.5 minutes. A couple of long gainers by Elway.
They can do it in a hurry.
And I realize we just got to town, Kenny. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with Elway's passing to us.
Throwing the ball extremely well, and as long as he's patient, takes what the defense gives him, and uses his players the way that he needs to, and get all of them back like Jackson, he's going to be okay.
Dills will begin on the ground with Gene Lang. Lang through a hole on the right side, a gain of about 5 out to about the 25, where Walt Boyer made the stop, number 65.
Well, you know Gene Lang would like to play well. He spent an awful lot of time here in Denver and in this particular stadium playing with that team in orange out there. And you know that has to motivate him to come out. He wants to play well against his former teammates.
2nd and 5 now from the 25. Stacey Bailey in motion. The handoff is for Settle. Settle breaks it outside. First down yardage out to about the 35. Looks like a pickup of about 10. Right now, let's go to New York. Brent Musburger with an NFL Today report. Brent?
Well, Greg, the New Orleans Saints have taken a lead on Seattle. They did it the hard way. They fumbled going in and then coming back for the next drive. Hebert to Eric Martin, 7-3 now. Saints lead. Back to you in Denver.
Denver Broncos and their fans with an acute interest in what happens with the Seattle Seahawks. They come in trailing Seattle by a game in the AFC West. And on first down now at 36, double tight end set up for the Atlanta Falcons, and Dills will throw out of it to the near side and short hops at the settle.
Well, they're trying to get the ball in Settle's hands as much as they possibly can. Dills makes a bad throw there as a zone type, and a man-to-man type coverage. They had Settle on Carl Mecklenburg, a matchup that you like. Just needs to make that completion. Need a better throw.
Dills readily admits that he's still trying to fit in with this Atlanta offense, having come in several weeks ago for Chris Miller.
Talked to him yesterday, and he said he's still getting acclimated to the moves, to the receivers, his backs, the offensive line. And it's not easy when you come in off the street, so to speak, and playing with a new team.
Number 34, Tyrone Braxton, is the fifth defensive back in for the Broncos. On 2nd and 10. To the far side, and Settle. Settle tries to sidestep his man, and he can't do it. That's Carl Mecklenburg. A gain of 1.
Well, they may have stolen his dog a couple of weeks ago and broke his thumb, but he can still tackle.
Still play the game.
He still play football. Tough player. Played against him several times myself, and good all-around linebacker. Plays the pass well. He rushes the passer well. And a good run player. Just a good all-around leader of that defense.
I think maybe one of these weeks we ought to do a count as to just how many players you played against were still playing.
I made a billfold out of my helmet.
3rd and 9. And 4 wide receivers in for the Falcons. From their own 37, the draw for Settle. Settle will come up short of first down yardage. Number 45, Steve Wilson, coming up to make the stop. And the punting unit comes onto the field for Atlanta. And the Swamp Fox looking for the key to a season that has gone pretty bad.
Injuries really hurt his situation an awful lot. His young quarterback, Chris Miller, a great player in Gerald Riggs. He just had injury after injury that really hurt his chances.
Low snap from center. Donnelly gets it away and gets a good one away. Will Height at the 11 and buried at about the 12, maybe the 13-yard line. And that's where Denver will put it in play with 8:50 to play. Second quarter, the Broncos lead at 7. And the Broncos have the ball now 1st and 10 at their own 13-yard line. And they come off the sidelines with 2 tight ends and Sammy Winder in the backfield. Elway to the far side. And guns it from the teal. John Elway told us yesterday he felt they could throw at Scott Case, and he's doing just that.
Well, you see, it's a little play. Fake the toss. See him fake the toss back there. Then he's got a personal protector out there, and Keith Carts. There he is, number 72. Receiver pushes off the defensive back, and then he just throws a frozen rope out there right between the 8 and the 4 for the first down.
Scott Case, number 25, working on a sore ankle. In fact, there are lots of nicks and bruises in this Atlanta secondary. Butler with a sore hamstring. Robert Moore, a pulled groin. Ankle troubles for Brett Clark. Here comes Dorsett. Dorsett breaking a tackle out over the 35 and out of bounds across the 36. Tony Casillas, the nose tackle, coming over to finally push him out.
Tony Dorsett has not lost very much. Talked to Craig Morton yesterday, who was doing some coaching for the Broncos. He said the same thing. Dorsett brings just about everything he's ever had to this team. Dan Reeves said the same thing. Here it is right now. Here's obviously can still run with the football. Look at this.
We aren't ready to challenge him for match race play.
No.
Pickup of 7 on the play for Dorsett. 2nd and 3. Denver now out to the 36.5-yard line. Straight ahead. Dorsett. Four-yard pickup is enough for the first down. You talked about how happy Dorsett is to be here. The Denver fans are ecstatic to have him.
I think so. I think they enjoy him. He's been a welcome addition to the team. I know his teammates like him. He does an awful lot of media work around town and has been accepted real well here in Denver.
Went by Jim Brown in the statistics that you just saw not too long ago, but couldn't be very happy about it because they lost that particular game.
Type of team player that he is. He wasn't worried about personal records. He just wants to win.
Elway will throw on first down. Lots of time. Going long for Jackson. Bobby Butler and Brett Clark shadowing Jackson down the sideline.
Well, John yesterday said they thought they could get deep on these people, and you see right now Jackson has got Butler beat by a couple of steps, and John just overthrows him. They're going to try to get deep on both corners. I think Scott Case has been the player that most people have been picking on in the Atlanta Falcons secondary. Bobby Butler probably the best cover man that the Falcons have.
John Elway, 191 yards throwing, and we still have 7:09 to play here in the first half. Double tight end now on 2nd and 10. Elway with the screen. And overthrows Sammy Winder. You know, we talked about Elway's problems so far this year, and you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Kenny, about departed coaches. He was very close to Mike Shanahan, who's now the head coach in Los Angeles for the Raiders, and Mike Shanahan took a couple of guys with him, too.
Yeah, you bet. And missed him more as a friend than he did as actually his coach. He was somebody that he could talk to about whatever problems he might have, whether it be an injury or whether it be the offensive line or whatever. And he misses him just to have somebody to talk to.
Sam Grady, number 83, is a wide receiver in. He is playing to the near side. Elway under the gun, escapes one, can't escape another. 77, Rick Bryant in on him, and he had plenty of help. Loss of 12 on the play.
Well, here it is out of the shotgun, and you see Green trying to put the pressure from the outside, force him up in the middle, but Bryan, you see, putting the heat on, and there comes number 99 from the outside making the play.
Tim Green, who was just activated, just off the IR list.
There's Craig Morton, and he's kind of taking Shanahan's place as the guy that John Elway will come off. You see John standing right in front of him right there. He'll come off, and Greg stands there, and if he wants to, Greg stands there, and if he wants to talk about whatever phase of the game, whether it's defense, offense, receivers, whatever.
Lou Barnes across the 30. Good return for Barnes up near the 35-yard line. Brought down by 55, Rick Dennison. So Atlanta will put it in play at their own 35 when we come back. 6:37 to play in the second quarter. Quarterbacks Elway and Kubiak look on as Steve Dills begins from his own 35. The pitch for Settle. Settle got about 7 yards and hit hard out of bounds. Steve Wilson came up to make the hit, and I think probably got hit the hardest.
You bet. That's the thing that those defensive backs like to do least, is to take on those guards and to take on those guys that weigh about 20 or 30 pounds more than them. Watch John Settle right here, and here comes a little guy come up, going to hit him right between the 4 and the 4 right there. And I think you have to say John Settle wins that award.
The meeting of the helmets on the near sideline. Pickup of 7.
Nixon paint.
2nd and 3. Settle joined by Gene Lang in the backfield. Here's Lang. Lang's got a first down and then some. Bursting through the right side out near midfield. That's a first down for Atlanta. We'll call it a pickup of 7.
Nice job of Gene Lang behind Bill Frelick and Houston Hoover, the right side of the Atlanta Falcons offensive line, and that's what they have to do. They've got to mix in the run so that they can play pass a little bit and be very mixed on offense. They've got to spread the ball around a lot in order for them to be effective.
Only the 4th first down of the game for the Falcons. Bailey in motion as they keep it on the ground. Settle straight ahead. Cross midfield and into Denver territory. Greg Cragen, Carl Mecklenburg on the stop. Gain of 2 will make it 2nd and 8. You know, more than one Denver Bronco told us that they are very aware that these Atlanta Falcons went up to San Francisco and knocked off the 49ers in week 3 this year.
Absolutely. Also in their game, they played the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. They probably should have won that game, and they're a much better team than people give them credit for. Injuries have just riddled their team. They lost their fine young quarterback and, of course, Joe Riggs.
Defensively, the Falcons talk about it. Offensively, 2nd and 7 from the 48. Gills, play action. Hit from behind, loses the football, and the Falcons recover. Center Wayne Radloff recovering the loose football, the fumble forced by Simon Fletcher.
Well, that's that Cougar-type defense that we talked about earlier. Simon Fletcher, a linebacker, gets down and rushes the passer. There he is on the outside, number 73. He gets down in a pass-rushing type stunt as a linebacker, and then they bring in a defensive back to play in a linebacker position. They call that their Cougar defense to put heat on the quarterback, and it works well there.
At 6'5", 240, it makes him big enough to play that defensive line position for a player, too.
Same thing right here, Greg. Very same thing.
3rd and 9. From the outside, Gills ducks away from the rush and throws and complete. Michael Haynes has the first down at about the 35 of the Denver Broncos. Steve Wilson was the man who had the chance for the sack and missed it. A pickup of 16.
Great job by Dills of ducking under the pressure right here. Watch this. And throws a strike out there, and Mike Harden, number 31, right there, goes for the interception or goes for the tip, misses it, and gives him an opportunity to get down in there in good field position.
Michael Haynes, the rookie out of northern Arizona, with his 2nd catch of the day, and he has given the Falcons a first down now, just inside the Denver 35. Gene Lang in motion. Gills to throw. Far side. And Lang is hit almost immediately by Simon Fletcher. Gain of about 1.
Well, that shows you the versatility of Simon Fletcher. They line him up in that Cougar defense and bring him to the quarterback. When he doesn't, when he's not in a down position, then he'll play pass defense as he does right here out on the sideline. There's Brooks, number 56, coming in. He gets welcomed in there by Mike Ken, number 78, and that makes for a long day.
Big Mike Ken, the veteran of that front line, 11th year out of Michigan. 2nd and 9. Wisenhunt in motion. Gills with time, and he's got a man about the 25, inside the 25, and that's Floyd Dixon. That'll be enough for an Atlanta first down.
Well, he gets a good pass protection, and when he gets pass protection, he's got a good arm. Throws the ball, holds all kind of passing records at Stanford, and he throws the ball exactly where he had to that time on the outside, and very nice throw.
Pickup of 11 on the play.
Marion Campbell, defensive specialist, coached 3 number 1 defensive units in his career.
And the Falcons moving the football the best that they have all afternoon. 3:15 to play first half. Bailey in motion. They'll keep it on the ground with Settle. Good block on the inside. Settle cuts it back across the 15, down to about the 12. And that looks like it'll be enough for still another Falcon first down. Mike Harden coming up to make the tackle.
Well, here's the hole. You're going to see it on the right-hand side of your screen behind Jamie Dukes and Mike Ken. A nice cut right here. Watch number 44 cut it back right there. Cuts it back right there. Nice job, first down.
John Settle played 44 football games at Appalachian State, scored 44 touchdowns. Double tight end, first down at the Denver 12. Lang cuts it back across the 10 and down to about the 8, maybe the 7-yard line. Rick Dennison, 55, and Harden coming up from his safety spot. And the Atlanta offense inside the 20 so far this season has been at about the midway point.
Yeah, about the midway point. They do fairly well when they get down there. Their problem is they just haven't been down there enough. They're doing a nice job of running the football, and they're not doing anything fancy, Greg. They're just lining up and going right at them. But they're right on the right-hand side of that line with Freilich and Hoover and Scully and Ken on the left side. Nothing fancy.
Whistle blows on the field. 2-minute warning to play here in the first half. The Broncos, surprisingly, 7-0 leaders, and I guess surprisingly because I know the home fans here expected Denver to be way on top of the Falcons at this point, but Atlanta's played well.
They have played well. They played well defensively. They stopped them except one series they didn't, but they played well on offense, especially running the football.
2nd and 6 from the Denver 8. Run it again with Gene Lang, and Lang across the 5-yard line before a whole lot of orange meets him and pushes him back. We'll call it a pickup of 3. Simon Fletcher, one of the leading tacklers, along with Greg Cragen.
Well, Cragen does a nice job of plugging up the middle. He's a nose tackle, and if you're going to get anything on the ground, if you're going to run the football, the first thing you have to be able to do is control the nose tackle.
It'll be 3rd and 3. The ball at the 4. And Tyrone Braxton is a 4th defensive back in.
4 wide receivers.
Settle, the lone back, and he gets the football straight ahead, and he's close to a first down.
I think you got it. I'm wearing the striped shirt again.
For the Falcons, this is Settle. Settle bogged down at about the 2.
I think they're going to get a timeout here. Well, they brought in their designated short yardage people, 2 tight ends, and here it is, nothing special, just one-on-one man blocking and let Settle try to hit the ball in there. Nice job by the Bronco defense. 55, Rick Dennison, and a whole host of them. There you are, playing middle linebacker. Look at Dennison, right there. Out.
Look at the man with wings, Carl
Mecklenburg. He's still mad. Somebody stole my dog, I'd be mad too.
Count me into that. Clock stopped now with 39 seconds to play. Into the lineup now for Atlanta is number 47, Rick Badanek, the second-year back out of Maryland. Ostensibly a little more blocking for John Settle.
Exactly.
Falcons have come 64 yards. 2nd and goal with 39 seconds to play. Settle up high, touchdown. Behind Wayne Radloff and all-pro right guard Bill Fralick.
You bet. The lead blocker, as you said, for more blocking, they bring in Badanek, a little heavier, a little stronger. There he is, 47. He's going to be lead and Settle up and over the top and breaks the plane. Nice job of running the ball this series by the Falcons. Another angle of it, if you're playing middle linebacker, here's what you have to deal with. A whole lot of bodies flying around in there. Touchdown.
Greg Davis in for the point after. And it's good. 35 seconds to play. Atlanta pulls into a tie. And they're looking at the second half kickoff, too. It's 7-7. And back to receive for Denver, 35, Ken Bell, 84, Ricky Nattiel. This is Bell, who will sit on it in the end zone. Clarence K. and Orson Mobley, double tight end. We'll see what John Elway does with 35 seconds on the clock. Winder and Dorsett in the I formation behind him. This will be Dorsett.
Well, it looks like they're just going to let it run, Greg, and go in with a 7-7 tie, not take any chances back there. And it's not a real popular decision, but armchair quarterbacks are part of the game.
Just a little disagreement, a difference of opinion down on the field, and nothing much comes of that. And that'll be the last play of the first half. Dan Reeves has to be wondering about it. Marion Campbell must be ecstatic.
They have to be happy with their playing. As long as they can keep the game this way, Johnny Elway, if you can keep him a little bit frustrated, he's played extremely well. Their problem has been on defense, Greg. They're giving up too many yards on the ground.
Back deep for the Falcons, number 33, Gene Lang, top of your screen. And at the bottom, number 41, Tim Gordon. 7-7 tie. And I think of all the options we had, Kenny, this is the one we least expected.
Really, I think we thought everybody on the Denver team would play much better. Had a big win last week against San Francisco, and we expected them to play better with their receivers back, but they really haven't played as well.
Gene Lang will not run it out of the end zone, so Atlanta will put it in play 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. And once again, Steve Dills takes the field.
You know, he will be successful as long as they can run the ball as well as they did in the second quarter, Greg. They maintained control of the ball. They kept John Elway over on the sideline in the second part of the second quarter, and that's what they have to do in order for him to be successful. There you see the passing by Downs for Steve Dills.
And has done exceptionally well in third down situations. 1st and 10. Lang and Settle in the backfield. Dills will play action. And throwing it out, incomplete, intended for Lang, and the Broncos had that one smelled out very well.
Yeah, didn't have a chance from the get-go. Mecklenburg smelled it real good, and Ryan out there on the play, and the play didn't have a chance from the start.
From around the NFL, the CBS Sports Wire, New Orleans leading Seattle 10-6 at the half. Good news for the Bronco fans. The 49ers leading the Rams at halftime. The NFC West is very, very tough.
Very tough division.
And these Falcons feel they've only played one bad game this season, and that's the last week against the Rams.
Injuries have just killed them.
John Settle, the lone setback, 4 wide receivers for Dills. And Dills overthrows Gene Lang right through the uprights.
Well, there you see Gene Lang. Maybe Dills should take a little off of that. CBS Sports Wire. Washington 33-17 over Phoenix.
Take a little out of the sails of the Phoenix Cardinals, who have been going along pretty well. Giants beating Detroit.
Randall Cunningham had a busy day today.
You know the feeling, don't you? 3rd and 10. Cincinnati suffering their first loss of the season at the hands of the Patriots. Penalty marker flies. Dill over the middle and throwing behind the intended receiver, Jesse Hester. But this looks like it may go against Denver. Referee Red Cashin says offside Denver. And that's the first flag of the day thrown against the Broncos.
Offside, number 75 on the defense, still 3rd down.
75 is Rulon Jones making the jump at his right defensive end position.
We said at the top, first quarter, that's one of the ways to help control the pass rush, is to vary your snap count, make those guys jump.
Tyrone Braxton, extra defensive back in the lineup for the Broncos on 3rd and 5. Dills hit hard, and the ball falls incomplete. Randy Robbins, number 48, on the blitz. And on comes Rick Donnelly to kick it away.
Well, you're going to see the hit. Here's a nice way to spend your Sunday afternoon. You're right there. There's Robbins, strong safety. They bring a strong safety blitz, and they had the play smell from the beginning. The cornerback was up on Settle. No chance whatsoever.
Rulon Jones going back to the sidelines, and Donnelly will get this one away at about its own 15-yard line. And the Broncos look like they may come after it. And they do. Big rush. Donnelly gets it away. Gerald Wilhite at his 30. And hit and taken down and loses the football after he was down, and Wilhite is hurt. 81, Michael Haynes came down and laid a terrific hit on Gerald Wilhite. 45-yard kick by Donnelly, a good one under pressure, and just a 1-yard return as Wilhite walks off slowly.
Here's a replay of it right here, Greg. And he just gets a hit on the leg right there. He puts the helmet right on his knee, probably just a bruise. I'd look for him to be back.
Easy for you to say up here.
Yeah, it didn't hurt me a bit.
First down from their own 32. Sammy Winder behind Elway. Double tight end. This is Mobley in motion. The pitch is for Winder. He eludes Andre Bruce and knocked out of bounds across the 30 at about the 32-yard line. Mike Gann, number 76, moving laterally nicely. And it'll be no gain. We mentioned how well Steve Dills had been throwing, particularly on 3rd down. Here's how John Elway is looking today. And John Elway's racking up the passing yardage, just that the end results aren't there.
Yeah, they're not getting the ball in the end zone. Has to be a concern. And defensively, they're giving up too many yards on the ground and not letting Atlanta control the ball on them.
Both Vance Johnson and Ricky Natile flying to the top of your screen on 2nd and 10. Play action. Lots of time. Elway throwing over the middle. Caught. Vance Johnson for a first down at the 47-yard line of the Falcons.
Vance Johnson looks like he's banged up his arm a little bit, a little bruise probably. Here you see him on the top of your screen. The inside guy clears out. The teal clears out. Now watch Vance Johnson cut to the inside. Here he comes inside. The ball is delivered right on time. Nice completion. Nice catch.
21-yard pickup. Boy, you've got to get some time to run that pass.
You really do. You have to have time for that guy to clear out that zone.
Dorsett and Winder in the eye behind Elway. Elway loses the ball on the play action, picks it up, and finds Dorsett over the middle. Pickup of 8, and the fake was just a little too good.
Yeah, a lot of times that will happen when you put the ball on the back's hip a lot of times, or fake. See him put the ball on his hip right there. It hits his hip, knocks it out. But look at the pass protection. He can take a short nap. He picks the ball up. Oh, well, what do you think? I don't know what I'll do with it. I'll run around for a while. There's a guy. Throw it to him. I mean, that's just great pass protection, and you can't give John Elway that much time.
Coming into the game this afternoon on the front line, Gann, Casillas, and Bryan have combined for 5 sacks. They haven't gotten near Elway today. The pitch this side, Dorsett kicks it in the air across the 35, down to about the 34, maybe the 33-yard line. Jesse Tuggle, number 58, on the tackle.
Well, a real nice job by Keith Karch and Ken Lanier, the right side of that line. You see him right there, and Mobley, the tight end, locking up on Andre Bruce, and you give Tony Dorsett a little crease like that, he still got it. He pops it up in there for a nice gain.
34 yards on the day for Tony Dorsett. Jesse Tuggle in at the linebacker spot, now replacing Joel Williams, number 54. First down from the 33. And number 33 carries again for a gain of 3. More finals from around the NFL. Houston over Pittsburgh. Bo Jackson stepping right in. 70 yards and a touchdown.
Just a hobby.
Indianapolis over Tampa Bay, 35-31. 11 and a half to play, third quarter. 7-7 tie, Broncos on the move. Elway pumps once, finds Mobley on the far side. Mobley inside the 20 to the 15. Robert Moore finally making the stop. Pickup of 15 and a first down for Denver.
Well, there you see Orson Mobley, and to get this wide open, somebody has to blow a coverage, and it's hard to say who it is because you don't know what type coverage it is. It looks like it's a zone. It looks like the guys run off to the right side. There's nobody. Look how wide open he is. There's not anybody even in the film. Where are they? Then finally somebody shows up. There's Tuggle, makes the play. No, he breaks that tackle, and Mobley does a nice job of running with the ball. Has to be a blown coverage.
First down, Denver from the 15, 10:40 to play. Third quarter, Dorsett and Winder behind Elway. Dorsett, left side, across the 10, down to about the 7. Put 8 more on the board for Dorsett and call it 2nd and 2.
Well, this guy right there, number 33, doesn't need much room. You just give him a little bit of a crease, and it's kind of a stutter. He stutters to the right, hits back to the left side behind Jariga and Keith Bishop, number 54, and you give him that little crease, and he's still very explosive.
The Broncos came into this game, Kenny, thinking they could run and run very well on the Falcons. It didn't happen in the first half. We're only seeing it now here in the third quarter.
This is exactly the way that they need to play.
2nd and 2. For Dorsett again. And a gain of about 1. He'll still be shy of the first down. Tony Casillas was there for the stop.
It just makes Elway much more effective when they run the ball that well and creates the short yardage situations. It gives him the opportunity to use a bigger percentage of his offense.
Again, we point out this is a young Atlanta team. Things can only get better for the Falcons and their fans.
Well, they're spreading everything out this time, Greg.
3rd and 1, Steve Sewell is in, and a whistle on the field this afternoon. Double tight end lineup for Denver. Dorsett and Winder in the I formation behind Elway. Mobley in motion. This is Winder. Winder has the first down inside the 5. And big Orson Mobley threw a pretty good block ahead of him.
Yeah, they bring that guy in motion, and a lot of times they'll bring him in motion, slip him in the flat for a pass. That particular situation, they bring him in motion, and that's called a wham block when he comes in motion and blocks back on usually the nose tackle. Wham, W-H-A-M.
Did you make that up, or is that a fact?
No, that's right out of the playbook.
Okay. Sammy Winder, Calvin Thomas now behind Elway on 1st and goal from the 3. Winder to the 2, close to the 1. And a pretty good test for this young Atlanta defense.
You bet. You get down in there, it's awfully tough with all the weapons that they have. Good receiver, and Sewell is in. Winder's a good back inside the 5-yard line. And, of course, Elway's ability to move around.
Pickup of 2, call it 2nd and goal from the 1. And Atlanta's defense has not stood the test as well as most have in the NFL this year. Winder and Thomas. Winder is the deep back. Winder, touchdown. Just solid straight-ahead blocking on the left side of the line. Billy Bryan, the center. Left guard, Keith Bishop. Left tackle, Jim Juriga.
There it is, nothing special, just a lead blocker. You put a lead blocker in front of him and try to bang it in there. Just like Greg said, behind Juriga, Bishop, Dave stuttered on that side. That's what they have to do, is be able to run the football. They have to run the football to make Elway more effective.
Carlos out of the 3X hole. And with 8 minutes, 25 seconds to play, Denver regains the lead. It's 14-7, Broncos. Rich Carlos will have to tee it up again as the wind blows it off the field, off the tee.
It blows it off the field. I need to go myself.
Sammy Winder, 1-yard touchdown run to put the Broncos on top. Back to receive, 41, Tim Gordon, 33, Gene Lang. This time the ball stays up long enough for Carlos to kick it to Gordon, a yard inside the end zone. To the 15, to the 20. Almost to the 30-yard line before being brought down by number 48, Randy Robbins.
Well, that's where your special teams have to help you. After a score, you've got to get momentum back on your side. What better way to do it than a nice kickoff return?
68-yard drive by the Denver Broncos, 11 plays in all in just under 6 minutes. And of those 11 plays, Kenny, 8 of them on the ground.
You bet. That's when they play best, is when they can run the ball where Elway can play fake and do everything that he needs to do with his great athletic ability.
Steve Gills will now try to bring the Falcons back, and he'll start on the ground. Settled as a penalty marker flies out over the 40 to about the 43, but we'll see what the call is. Preliminary signal is holding against the Falcons. Talking to both the offensive and defensive coordinators.
Number 55 on the offense. Still first down.
Wayne Radloff gets the call. And both coaches say a young team will make mistakes, and that's what the Falcons have been doing.
Extremely young team. Reminds me of a story. We were talking to someone this week for the Atlanta Falcons in their public relations department, and they said that Rankin Smith Sr., owner of the Atlanta Falcons, wanted to go in and talk to just the young players. And he said anybody that was here 3 or 4 years, go ahead and get up and leave the room. And I think about 3 people stood up.
Might as well keep everybody around. 1st and 20. From the 19, straight ahead. Hit hard. Andre Townsend. Number 61.
Well, you see number 34 coming in right there, and most of the time when he comes in the game, that's Tyrone Braxton, is when they go to that Cougar-type defense. He will play in the position of a linebacker. That linebacker right there, that's Simon Fletcher. He will get in a down position, like a pass rushing down position, like a down lineman, and that's what they do to try to get the heat on the passer. There you go. There's a linebacker down in a down position.
On 2nd and 18. Dixon in motion. Dills with some time. He hits a man and who is hit immediately, and that's Gene Lang out of the backfield. Carl Mecklenburg was there to meet him. Pickup of 6, and it'll be 3rd and 12.
Mecklenburg's responsibility is Lang coming out of the backfield, a man-to-man type coverage when they go into that Cougar type defense.
Offensive line did a good job on Simon Fletcher here.
Yeah, here it is. The linebacker down, rushing the passer. The reason they use Simon Fletcher as a pass rusher when he's a linebacker is because he's bigger, taller, heavier than the other linebacker.
Jeremiah Castile in as a defensive back, an extra defensive back. Dills over the middle and just a bit behind number 89, Jesse Hester.
Well, there you see Steve Dills and his jersey's hanging off of him. It looks like he's been hit by a truck. His jersey's all ragged. His people hanging all over him back there. And I think he did a good job of just getting the ball away.
That little extra hurried pressure probably forced the miss across the middle.
Here's an example of it. There he sees right there. Here they come. Guy gets his jerseys, tearing his jersey off of him. Busy back there. That little ball draws a big crowd.
Donnelly to kick it away. Not nearly as much of a rush as the last time. Wilhite across the 40 to about the 41 or 42. 40-yard kick, 10-yard return. 6:15 to play, 3rd quarter. Denver with the football and the lead. And Stabler, 6:15 to play, 3rd quarter. Denver leading at 14-7. And they have the football now at their own 41-yard line in pretty good field position for John Elway to work on. And while John Elway works, his backup watches from the side. Gary Kubiak, he and his wife thankful for the more important things in life. He and his wife Rhonda had a young son Monday. Immediately after he was born, contracted pneumonia. He's doing much better now, we are happy to say. Elway goes long. He's got a man. Natil, the intended receiver. Elway was hit hard after he let loose.
I think John is hurt. I thought he was just upset for overthrowing, but it looks like he's hurt.
He's got a hand on the right hamstring.
Or knee.
Or knee.
Well, just a hush over this place now. Well, here, maybe we can see what happened. There he is in the pocket. Release it. There it is right there. He is blocked. Number 72. Number 72 right there. Keith Karts blocks number 75 right there. He blocks Tony Casillas. He blocked Tony Casillas right into the side of him, and that could be bad.
And while they look over John Elway in the middle of the field, Gary Kubiak loosens up on the sideline. Kubiak in his 6th year out of Texas A&M. And that'll cause the head coach to worry.
You bet. And you know, that can happen often because there's a lot of people around you back there, and they're all big people, and everybody's trying to help you by keeping those defensive linemen off of you. But you don't know where Elway is going to be all the time because he does move around a lot. And you block a guy the best way you can, and unfortunately, that can happen.
John's going to be helped to his feet now and helped to the sideline. And that does look like a knee.
Right.
We'll get a report from the sideline just as soon as we can for you. In the meantime, Elway's statistics for the day: 16 of 26, 235 yards and a touchdown. And probably thinking he should have had a second one right there.
Yeah, no doubt. That's in the 3rd quarter. He was really playing extremely well, and that's exactly what John needed. He needed a good game.
On 2nd and 10, Kubiak at the controls will immediately go to the air. Lots of time to throw over the middle and incomplete. And he threw it into a host of Falcon defenders. Scott Case had the best shot at it.
A lot of people back there. They play that deep zone. They sit back there, wait for the players to wait for the receivers to break in there. Then everybody attacks the ball. There's John. Good numbers for the day. That's the third quarter. Struggling this year for various reasons, and what John needed most of all was to play well to get his confidence level back up. Hopefully it won't be as serious as it looks.
Kubiak out of the shotgun on 3rd and 10. Out of the backfield, Will Height off his shoulder pad, and a penalty marker is down in the backfield. Preliminary signal is holding against Denver. Falcons will refuse that penalty and force the punt.
Holding, number 76 on the offense. That penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
Ken Lanier, the guilty party. So Kubiak comes to the sideline to talk things over. Mike Horan in to punt. Interesting, Dan Reeves telling us yesterday about how Mike Horan came to be in his employ.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting story. I guess they were playing the Giants, and he was talking to Bill Parcells, and he was telling Parcells, gosh, these kickers can drive you nuts, drive you crazy. And Parcells said, I can tell you a kicker that impressed me, and that was Mike Horan, and the rest is history.
Horan getting a good one away. Barnes at the 15. Nice move, 25, almost to the 30-yard line. Hit and brought down by 55, Rick Dennison. We have 5:45 to play. 44-yard kick, 14-yard return. Broncos lead it by 76-73 here at Mile High Stadium in Denver. Greg Gumbel along with Ken Stabler. 5:45 to play in the third quarter. Denver with a 14-7 lead on that last punt return. Holding called on the Atlanta Falcons, so the Falcons will put it in play from their own 7-yard line now.
Well, that right now turns out to what you see on your screen now turns out to be the biggest story right now is John Elway throwing the football, and offensive lineman blocked the defensive pass rusher into John's knee, and they're taking a real serious look at it right now on the sidelines.
Marion Campbell just looking for the way out of this hole now.
Atlanta's got to change field position. They've got to get the ball up where they can do something. They've got to get some first downs out of here and get up where they can use a little bit more of their offense and throw the ball.
Steve Dills brings him up 1st and 10 at his own 12-yard line. Settle and Lang in the backfield behind him. Wisenhunt in motion. Lang, big hole right side. Lang across the 20, across the 25, loses the football, and Denver recovers. Number 61, Andre Townsend. Mark Haynes caused the fumble. Townsend recovered the ball.
Well, it's just off tackle. You see Gene Lane. He's going to break into the secondary clean right there. You see him breaking the secondary. Now wrap the ball up when you get around all those people. You see number 36 right there. Haynes grabs the ball, and the defensive backs are taught to do that. Strip him of the ball.
Denver first down now at the Falcon 28. Kubiak gives for Winder. And Winder gets nothing. In fact, looks like he loses two. And headed off to the locker room is number 7. Kenny, is it a good sign that he's walking off instead of riding off?
It's really hard to say. I think it is a good sign as opposed to riding off. But still, I've seen guys walk off the field and still have some damage in that knee. I think they'll just have to wait, get inside, and take a look at it.
He doesn't go off without support from the fans. Loss of 2 on the play, 2nd and 12. Kubiak to throw. Out of the backfield is Winder, and it's incomplete. Casillas putting the pressure on Kubiak, and Jesse Tuggle with the pressure on Winder.
Well, the hardest thing to do for a quarterback when he has to throw the ball is with people in his face. The easiest way to get people in his face is right up the middle. That time, Tony Casillas getting penetration, getting in Kubiak's face. It's hard to throw the ball when you got those big guys standing right in front of you.
On the CBS Sports Wire, you see the scores coming in from the late games this afternoon. The Rams within 3 now, San Francisco. Out of the shotgun, Kubiak with time, plenty of time, over the middle, almost picked off by Robert Moore.
Well, you throw that ball high in the middle, especially against a team that plays zones or plays with a safety that's going to stay in the middle, and most of the time the Atlanta Falcons do that. They will keep one of their safeties in the middle. Watch this. There he is right there in the middle of the field, right on the hash mark, number 34, Robert Moore. You got to get that ball down. Those are tipped and those are intercepted.
Tricky to seal the intended receiver, and now Rich Carlos will come on to attempt the 47-yard field goal. Carlos missed earlier from 35. Rich Carlos puts 3 more on the board for the Denver Broncos. And with 4:42 to play, Denver extends its lead now to 17-7. The view from the official's position behind the air.
There it is right there. I guess we're going to have to give him this one. Dan Reeves likes Carlos's attitude as a kicker. Handles the pressure very well. Even when he misses one, doesn't let him phase him. Just keep kicking him.
You were a holder, among other things. Did you ever hold for a barefoot kicker?
Never held for a barefoot kicker. I never really held for a sidewinder as he is. I held for George Blanda for about 5 or 6 years, and he was a straight-on conventional type kicker. And he wore 2 shoes when he kicked. He was a 2-shoed conventional kicker. That's what he was.
And he was good, too.
And a good 2-shoed kicker.
Goody 2 shoes.
Somewhat of a goody 2-shoed
Goody
kicker.
2 shoes, yes. 4:42 to play, 3rd quarter.
That's got to hurt. It's got to sting a little bit when it gets cold.
This will be Tim Gordon. Gordon across the 15 to about the 17, maybe the 18. Before Randy Robbins makes yet another special teams hit. And Robbins will stay on to play safety. So back come the Falcons, who got 2 bad breaks the last time they had the ball. The first was a holding call, which put them in a hole on their own 12, and the second was the fumble by Lane.
You bet. Defense has played much better this half. They've turned the ball over for the offense. The offense has gotten points out of it. Better team effort by the Bronx.
On the ground, John Settle. Settle out over the 20. Brought down by Townsend and Greg Cragen. Gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. 2nd and 5. Wisenhunt on the move. Settle. Gain of 2, and it'll be 3rd and 3. 3:37, 3:36, 3:35 now as the clock continues to move.
Yeah, the Broncos bring in their designated pass rusher, their situation substitution people. They bring in Tyrone Braxton, 34, and they bring in their designated pass rusher, Rulon Jones, lining up on the right side of the Denver defense.
3rd and 3. Gills on the roll, hits his man out of the backfield. Lang has a first down and then some across the 30 out to about the 33. Mike Harden coming up to make the hit. Pickup of 8 on the play. So Dills has a little more room to maneuver now.
Yeah, you have to get the ball out there where you can get into more of your offense. Nice job of Gene Lang, you see right there. Nice job of him knowing where the first down marker was, taking on the tackler. Second effort for the first down.
I had to appreciate this guy's candor when we talked to him yesterday. Steve Dills says, I haven't even got a chance to know all the guys in the locker room yet. It's impossible to think that I can make this offense go completely the way it's supposed to go.
Well, it's pleasant to talk to. You have to admire his intestinal fortitude to come in here and try to rally this team. It's just been riddled with injuries.
2.5 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. Play action. Dills, plenty of time, throws out on the side for Settle. Settle out near the 40-yard line. We'll call it a pickup of 7. and it'll be 2nd and 3.
7 tough yards by a tough little back. They're doing it the hard way. They're taking away the intermediate and long tight passes. They're making Steve Dills dump off to Settle and to his tight ends and making them earn every yard that they get.
John Settle is early to practice, early to bed, early to rise, no drinking, no smoking. Sounds a lot like the school you went.
Same way I trained.
2nd and 3 from the 40. Lang fighting for first down yardage, but doesn't get it. He got 2 of the 3 he needed. It'll be 3rd and 1. And Jim Ryan, number 50, making the hit. That's a good, tough set of linebackers the Broncos put on the field.
They've always been that way, too. They've always been a linebacker-oriented type defense. They have a reputation for being a finesse-type defense because they aren't as heavy as a lot of other defenses. They've got real active, quick linebackers as they did when they had Gradishar and Tom Jackson and Swinson and those guys in the 70s.
On 3rd and 1, Rulon Jones and Bruce Klosterman into the lineup. The pitch for Settle. Settle has a first down to midfield. Tripped up as he crosses the 40 and down close to the 35-yard line. Pickup of 20. And Rick Badanek helping lead the way.
Watch this block right here by Rick Badanek. He cuts this guy down, and the rest is all done by John Settle. He gets to the outside, outruns Mecklenburg, who gets his feet and makes a nice play of knocking him out of bounds.
John Settle, 16 carries, 86 yards now as the Falcons again put the emphasis on the ground game.
That's what got him into the end zone in the second quarter, Greg. They control the ball on the ground, and this is what they're doing now.
Gene Lang gets
reverse.
it.
Pass.
And it's the trick play. Dills on the far side for Floyd Dixon. And Dixon across the 25 to about the 23. Rick Dennison made the stop.
And there's a little something special for him. Ball changes hands 2 or 3 times, winds up back in the quarterback's hands and throws a little flat thing out there. You're going to have a slide rule to figure this one out.
The receiver was not Dixon, it was Gene Lang.
Watch this. Dills pitches the ball to Gene Lang, who in turn hands the ball off to Dixon coming around on the reverse, who in turn flips the ball back to Dills, who in turn again fires a little strike out here to Gene Lang, who winds up with it again for first play. Nice play, first down. They got something working.
A lot of turns out there. Under 50 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Another Atlanta first down. Straight ahead, James Primus, the rookie out of UCLA. He'll pick up 2, and it's 2nd and 8. Walt Boyer making the tackle.
Well, I kind of look for that Cougar defense, the one that they apply the pressure with, because you see Tyrone Braxton coming in the game. Also, their designated pass rusher, Rulon Jones, in the game.
And coming out is 55, Rick Dennison. Clock continues to move, 15 seconds to play in the third quarter. And it's a 2nd and 9. Primus and Badanek in the backfield. Dills looks like he'll get this play off. He does. And it's another reverse, and here comes Dixon. Dixon with a blocker in front of him to the 15 and out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. Mecklenburg helping run him out of bounds along with cornerback Mark Haynes.
You will see a lot of reverses, Greg, when you play against a team that is a team that pursues as well as the Denver Broncos. A finesse-type defense, a lot of speed of down linemen, and they will pursue. You'll see reverses.
Down to the 13.5-yard line. That's where the fourth quarter will begin. That's the end of the Welcome back for the start of the fourth quarter here at Mile High Stadium. Greg Gumbel along with Ken Stabler, and on that last reverse,
well, the kickers use a little body English. Watch Marion Campbell right here. Give it a little oomph. Oh, yeah. Oh. Anything to help.
That's how to do it without the hula hoop. 3rd and inches for Atlanta.
Big play, big play.
The ball at the Denver 13.5-yard line. Settle and Badanek in the backfield. Here comes Settle. First down. Steve Wilson, number 45, coming up to help with the stop. Remind you once again that John Elway has been taken out of the game and has gone to the locker room after injuring his knee in the third quarter. He is being x-rayed for a sprained ankle and for an injury to his right knee.
You know, it's interesting, Greg, that On the first scoring drive that Atlanta had, the only scoring drive that they had, they did it on the ground, and they're doing it on the ground here, and that is the place that the Broncos have had problems on defense, is stopping the rush.
First down from the 11. Settle. And Settle with not much.
It gets awfully tough down here to run the ball into the end zone. I think you have to spread things out a little bit more and throw the ball. They bring in their designated rusher people again. Situation substitution people, Tyrone Braxton and Rulon Jones, expecting pass.
Big game there for these Denver fans. New Orleans leading Seattle. A Denver win here and a Seattle loss ties them atop the AFC West.
Rams roaring back against the Niners.
2nd and 9. Settle straight ahead. Settle down near another Atlanta first down. They need to reach the 1-yard line for a first down. They appear to be just a little bit shy.
Nice call. You bring in your pass people. Denver brings in their people. They're expecting a pass with their pass rush people in the game. Cross them up with a run right up the middle. Nice job by John Scully. Mike Ken, Radloff doing a good job.
And Mike Harden has been laid out at about the 4-yard line. The 9-year man out of Michigan might have lost his helmet in this hit.
Well, there we can see it right here. See Lang go in motion. There's the handoff right there. It's hard to see exactly what happened. There's the hit right there. There's Harden. Really it's hard to tell what happened to him there.
So the clock has stopped now with 13:30 to play in the game.
Another angle. Here's Harden. Right there. Woo! Looks like the head-on hit right there. Like jammed the neck. A lot of times you get a pinched nerve, separated shoulders, things like that.
And Mr. Settle is no fun to hit. He stands 5'9", but when he gets rolling, he does a heck of a job. In his 2nd year out of Appalachian State. Atlanta eating up time and not panicking. Down 10 with plenty of time remaining. 1st and goal for Dills and the Falcons from the 1. Settle won't get there this trip. Mark Haynes, number 36, in on the stop.
Nothing fancy, just see if our guys can whip your guys. Straight ahead with a lead blocker, man on man, center on the nose. Try to get those guards on the linebackers. Nothing fancy.
You know, 77 will have his nose in the middle of the action.
He seems to like getting in the middle of all that.
You didn't?
No, I tried to stay as far away from all that action. I tried to get a no-contact contract.
Settle and Badanik in the eye, behind Dill. On the play-action fake, touchdown Atlanta.
Real nice call.
John Settle on the receiving end of the touchdown. And with the extra point, the Falcons will look to pull to within 3.
Real nice call. Slipping Settle out in the flat. He's been carrying the load, running the ball. Here they play fake to Badanik. Slip in there behind the linebackers for a touchdown. Mecklenburg too late to make the play.
So John Settle with his 2nd TD of the game, his 4th of the year. And Greg Davis adds the extra point. We have 12:35 to play, and Atlanta makes it close again. It's Denver by 3. We'll be back. Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. Got a ball game again. Greg Gumbel along with Ken Stabler. It has been pretty much of a nip-and-tuck struggle all the way through. And you've got to give the Atlanta Falcons credit, Kenny. They have hung in there, and they've done it with the ground game.
They really have. They played best during the series, especially 2nd quarter and in the 3rd quarter where they were able to run the ball.
The way this game may change, of course, is the loss of Denver quarterback John Elway in the 3rd quarter.
Well, that's the story right now. John Elway, someone blocked a defensive lineman into his leg. He went in with, looks like what is going to be a knee injury. Hopefully it won't be serious.
They are looking at x-rays right now, but before he left, Elway, 235 yards and 1 touchdown pass. And you see that the total yardage is evening up pretty much now. Greg Davis kicking it away for Atlanta. 35, Ken Bell. 84, Ricky Nattiel back to receive for Denver. Nattiel will take it in the end zone and leave it there. So the Atlanta Falcons, young, injury-riddled, but very much in this football game, down 3. Denver takes over 1st and 10 at their own 20 with 12:29 to play in the 4th quarter. You know, we've talked so much about how the Atlanta Falcons have had to adjust to Steve Dills. Same kind of adjustment for the Broncos with Kubiak?
Exactly, because Johnny Elway is going to take 90-95% of the snaps during practice to keep his timing, especially with the way that he's been playing this year.
Kubiak to throw, near side, Natil gets the block, nice move to the 25, and then he's met by a couple of Falcons there. Andre Bruce leading the charge, a gain of 5 for Natil, and it's 2nd and 5.
Well, from behind the quarterback, little play fake right there to hold the linebackers, and you get the ball out to Natil as quick as you can and let the offensive lineman come. You'll see Keith Bishop, number 54, will be coming. Number 7, he stuttered, and he'll be coming in there to try to help out. There comes Bishop. This play, if it's successful, most of it is done on the athletic ability of the receiver.
2nd and 5, Dorsett, straight ahead. 1st down. 35, and out of bounds, close to the 40. Brett Clark ran him out. After a gain of 16, that's a Denver 1st down.
Well, that's what he brings. You get your number 1 gun is down. You get John Elway's in the locker room with an injury. Somebody has to take up the slack. What better person than number 33? He's done it year in and year out. You get him in the secondary, he's trouble.
Several Denver Bronco veterans being honored at halftime here today, Kenny, and a couple of them down on the field said they figured Tony Dorsett for a big day running the football today.
You bet.
Dorsett and Winder in the eye behind Kubiak. From their own 41, Dorsett to the outside, has a man to beat and can't get past him. Third 22 is Charles Dimry, the rookie out of UNLV. Still, Dorsett chalks up another 7.
Well, the thing that makes him so dangerous is the way that he changes directions. You can be going one way, stop, cut on a dime, and be going the other way. Then he can outrun you to the corner. Has all the tools to gain the 13,000 yards that he has. He's a good inside runner, outside runner, and is a great pass receiver.
14 carries, 69 yards now for Dorsett. Now 2nd and 3. Johnson in motion. Dorsett. 1st down, and then some. Loses his footing as he crosses the 40, and he had a lot more.
But watch this. Watch the job by Sammy Winder, if you can see that. Sammy Winder cuts the guy down and gives Dorsett a chance to get outside. Loses his footing, in for the 1st down. Get him the ball out on the outside, and that's where he can do a lot of damage.
Another 16 for Dorsett brings him up to 85 yards on 15 carries. And a 1st down now at the Falcon 36. Mark Jackson, number 80, in as a wide receiver for Denver. Dorsett. And hit hard. Coming up from the secondary, Scott Case to help Jesse Tuggle with the tackle. We were talking with Dan Reeves yesterday, Kenny. I asked him if Tony Dorsett, since his long association with Dallas, if he felt Tony has lost much. He said, not very much at all.
He has lost very little. Still catches the ball as well. Still bursts through those small holes, a slashing type runner. He's brought a lot to this offense.
Those good backs do need to carry the ball 15, 20, 25 times a game.
You bet. Get them lathered up.
2nd and 11, Kubiak to throw. Over the middle into a crowd, and it falls incomplete, intended for Natil. And a flag is down on the near side of the field. Number 80, Mark Jackson, involved with number 25, Scott Case. And it goes against the Falcons.
Illegal contact. Number 25 on the defense. 1st down.
Costly penalty again for the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, those things just kill you, especially when it's away from the play. It's on the opposite side with the ball was being thrown on, and You just can't have it. Of course, that's the thing that's really stopped Atlanta all year, but other than their injuries, is they've just played inconsistent football offensively and defensively.
10:45 to play in the game. Dave Studdard in at left tackle now for Jim Juriga on the Denver line. The pitch for Winder. Right side, and gets a couple. The good news for the Broncos out of the locker room, X-rays show Elway suffering from a sprained ankle and a sprained knee.
Well, you're right. If it can be good news of that injury, I guess a sprain would be good as opposed to anything that would require any type of surgery.
On the Sports Wire, New Orleans leading Seattle 17-12 in the fourth. The Rams have taken the lead on the 49ers at Anaheim. 2nd and 6 now as we approach 10 minutes to play. Kubiak will throw for it. All alone in the flat, complete to Winder. And Winder is down just inside the 25. Robert Moore coming up to make the hit. Gain of 3, and a better pass would have gotten them more.
Yeah, ball out in front where he could take his momentum toward the stick, and it looked like he may have got a first down. We got a big third down play coming now.
And number 30, Steve Sewell, into the lineup, along with 47, Gerald Wilhite. That means look for the Broncos to throw it.
That's usually their passing combination when it comes to their backs. Wilhite and Sewell, they're both flanked on the corners now with 3 wide receivers.
3rd and 3, and Kubiak alone in the backfield, now joined by Sewell. Over the middle, in and out of the hands of Wilhite. Wilhite looks for a flag, and there is none. Tim Gordon, number 41, was right there with him.
Well, that's their receiving core when they're in. Wilhite, they tried to get him coming across the middle. Tim Gordon making a nice play. Watching the left-hand side of your screen. There's Wilhite. Should have caught the ball. Ball was in an area that should have been caught.
So on comes Rich Carlos again. And Carlos will attempt this one from about 41 yards out. From 40 to 49 yards, Carlos is 3 for 3 this season, including 1 today. Kubiak holding. This one is long enough, and it's on the money. So after missing his first one, Carlos has hit 2 straight. 9:12 to play, third quarter. The Bronco lead is 6. We'll be back to Mile High's 12 seconds to play. Fourth quarter, Broncos leading Atlanta 20-14. Rich Carlos to kick it to either 41, Tim Gordon, or 33, Gene Lang for Atlanta. This one high and comes down short. Lang hit and hit hard before he reaches the 20. 35, Ken Bell, one of those coming down to make contact. And on comes Steve Dills. Kenny, you get to this part of the football game, if you're a visitor, you've got to feel real good about your situation. You're still within shouting distance.
Yeah, you're still within a touchdown of going ahead in the game, and I think they have to feel good. It's awfully tough to play in Denver. The crowd noise right now is going to be a factor. They've got a long way to go. They've got their work cut out.
Settle. Left side, running room, and out near another first down. Mike Harden making the tackle. It is a first down for the Falcons. Again, their problem has been avoiding the key mistake.
It really has been, and their success has been on the ground. As long as they're able to run the ball, then they've scored twice on series where they've run the ball exceptionally well, gives Dills an opportunity to play fast. That seems to be the weakness in the Bronco defense, the ability to stop the run.
Settle now with 109 yards on the day, his third 100-yard rushing game of the year. Wisenhunt had it and dropped it. Incomplete.
They're calling that a fumble.
It is called a fumble, and Simon Fletcher recovers. Wisenhunt hit as soon as the ball arrived. And it is now called incomplete, and that appears to be the right call.
I think so too. Here it is right here. You make the call. There's the throw. No, it's incomplete. Good call.
And a tough hit by cornerback Mark Haynes.
And the thing that will help that type of play is if the quarterback will keep that ball on the other side of the receiver. Let the receiver keep the ball, keep his body between the receiver and the ball and the defender.
And down on the sideline, Dan Reeves is making his case. While upstairs, replay official Grover Clemmer will take another look at it. And Dan Reeves is not at all happy with the call.
Another shot of it. I don't think he ever had really control of the ball.
And after having looked at it upstairs, it is an incomplete pass. Reason why Dan Reeves is upset, a play like that could turn the whole game around.
No doubt. Especially when a team has been struggling the way that they've been struggling.
2nd and 10 for Atlanta. Dills with time. Has it batted down over the middle. 65, Walt Boyer. The Broncos have had a couple of those today.
Offensive linemen have to get into them and get their hands down. Here you're going to take a look at it. You're playing quarterback. Steve Dills, there he is right there. Number 71, Cragen gets his hands up. Number 65, Boyer gets his up.
Back into the Cougar defense for the Broncos on 3rd and 10. Dills with time, and now he runs out of time. Rulon Jones records the 3rd sack of the day for the Broncos.
Broncos' hands, the defense's hands, when you get in those long yardage situations, they can bring in Rulon Jones, give you a lot of looks up front, bring a lot of people, cause problems.
Rick Donnelly with a good kick. Gerald Wilhite backs up almost to his 20. And hurdles a couple of tacklers across the 30. Have another look at Rulon Jones.
Here's what I was talking about. When you let them bring in their designated rusher, they know you're going to throw the football. And now watch, there's 45 coming as a safety. And watch from the right-hand side, there comes Rulon Jones.
Rulon Jones, 1/2 of a sack away from setting a Denver record in that department. Along with Ken Stabler in Denver. What is that?
I don't know. When I was here, the only view I got of him was that one.
Rulon Jones, meanwhile, having registered a big sack and stalling any hopes of an Atlanta rally at that point. Kubiak going long as Steve Sewell. Sewell beat Robert Moore down the sideline, and Kubiak hit him on the dime.
Beautiful play. Watch this throw. Watch where it is. Right on the money. Got a couple steps on Robert Moore. The ball is right on target. Sewell, the receiving specialist of their backs. Touchdown.
A sack by Rulon Jones forces the punt, and the Broncos come right back with one play. Carlos out of Kubiak's hold. Broncos 27, Falcons 14, and not so long ago, it was a 3-point game.
And it just goes to show you the value of backup quarterbacks. There's been 48 quarterbacks that have started during the course of the year for various teams, and when you have a guy that can sit over there and watch what's going on, come in and see something and make things happen, it just goes to show you how valuable the backups are.
Steve Sewell, 4th year out of Oklahoma. Couldn't ask for a better pass.
Right on the money. Sewell, extremely good receiver. He and Will Hyder, the receiving specialist in their backfield. You get him with a couple of steps on a guy like that, you put it on the money. Here it is again. Bingo.
Gary Kubiak couldn't be a happier backup quarterback.
Well, you don't get the opportunity to play very much. And when you get in there, you have to make the most of your shots, and he's having a good time.
Carlos kicks. And booms it into the end zone. Gene Lang takes it and holds on. 7:24 on the clock. And Denver now looking at victory here with Seattle losing to New Orleans 20-12 and forcing a tie atop the AFC West. 1st and 10 for Atlanta from the 20. Settle spins away from one tackle out to about the 25. Gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. Steve Wilson made the stop, and there's Gary Kubiak. Settle now 114 yards on the day. What a workhorse he has been.
Oh, he has earned his keep today.
Gerald Riggs went down a few weeks ago. Kenny Flowers went down in the preseason, and he has picked up the slack. Settle again. Good block by Gene Lang. Looks like a gain of about 4. It'll be 3rd and 1. Mind you again, these Falcons are toiling with the specter of David Crudup still very much in the air. The special teams captain who died early Monday morning of acute cocaine intoxication.
Well, you wouldn't know if the Falcons would come out and play on an emotional high or come out real flat because of that situation. I don't think either one of them's the case. I think they've been outmanned. They've been outgunned. They're just not as deep as Denver with all of their injuries.
1st down yardage for Settle on the last play. Throws a big block, going long down the sideline, incomplete. Is Dills intended for Wisenhunt. Dills perhaps trying to get it back in a chunk as Kubiak did to Sewell on one play.
Well, I think Dills, it's really not in his hands. He's not calling the plays. They're calling, that's just right here, the pass play. There you see Mecklenburg putting the pressure on, making him throw the ball a little before he would like to, hurrying him, making him overthrow the ball. And I think they should throw the ball every down. They have nothing to lose. A 1-5 team. Throw the ball.
6:01 to play here in the 4th quarter, 2nd and 10. Instead, the Falcons run it straight ahead. And the clock continues to run. Gain of 2 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 8.
Well, again, throw the ball. I see very little difference in 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 10. Throw the football. They have nothing to lose. 1-5 ball club. The only way to get back in the game with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left is they've got to put the ball up.
Tyrone Braxton, Jeremiah Castile into the Denver secondary. Dill to the near side. He's got his man, Floyd Dixon, and that's a 1st down.
Thanks.
Pickup of 11 on the play, 1st down, and I didn't know that headset went down to the sideline.
Well, they have an outstanding core of receivers. One of them right there, Floyd Dixon, Stacey Bailey, number 82, you see coming in over there. And they've got a group. If they can protect their quarterback, they can do damage. I think they have to throw, especially when you're down like this. Just put the ball up.
5:21 to play. Bailey to the top of your screen, Dixon to the bottom. Dill with time. Over the middle, in and out of the hands of Settle. And Dills was upset.
Well, he's talking to himself, and I guess when you get knocked around like this and playing a Denver team in Denver like this, that'll make you talk to yourself on occasion. It looked like he was crossed up with Settle then. We tried to flip the ball to him. I don't think they were on the same page.
Braxton Braxton and Rulon Jones again in as the Broncos put their Cougar defense on the field on 2nd and 10. Settle. Across the 45. And it'll be a 3rd down and 7.
Mecklenburg looks like he's hurt himself, Greg. It looks like it's the hand that he broke against Kansas City.
Well, they'll come out and take a look at Carl Mecklenburg here. And that's got to be wrapped about as heavily as a hand can be wrapped. Come off under his own power. Watch how it happened.
Here he is, 77. You see the wrapped hand. Looks like he clubbed Subtle right there. And looks like he falls on just several people fall on top of that hand.
And we're not just talking about a minor cut. There's a broken bone down there.
Too bad in the base of his thumb.
Meanwhile, 3rd and 7 with 4:47 to play in the game.
Cougar defense.
Dills to a wide open John Settle. 1st down and more. And he is cracked out of bounds by Tyrone Braxton.
It's a good thing, too, but it was Tyrone Braxton. If I had to guess, I would say that was his responsibility was to Settle. It looks like he blew the coverage, gave Settle an opportunity to get out there. Braxton comes in to replace a linebacker in the Cougar defense. Where is he? Settle gets the ball. Here comes Braxton right here with the hit down the sidelines after a huge gain.
1st down now. Atlanta at the Denver 37. 4:37 to play. Dills to the air. Intercepted. Dennison with Dills to beat. And Dills made the tackle inside the 40. Could they be more pleased here in Denver that the 7th-year man out of Colorado State made the play and halted the drive?
I don't think Dills ever saw him. I don't think he ever saw him. I think he was shielded behind some defensive linemen or his offensive linemen. Here you see Dills. There's 55, Dennison, lower left-hand part of your screen. I don't think he ever saw him. Looks like he was shielded behind Cragen. Throws the ball to who he thinks is a wide-open John Settle. There's Dennison. Only body left between him and the goal line. Makes Dills play a little defense.
Dennison's 1st interception of the year. And under 4.5 minutes now, Denver goes back to work inside the 40. Woo! This is Winder, and Winder will lose a couple. 4:20, and the clock continues to run. And another injured player down on the field now. 89 is Orson Mobley. And they're looking at Mobley's right knee.
It's one of those type plays right there that Mobley was hurt on, Greg, where they split him out. He split out to the side, and he cracks back on the linebacker on that side. And I think he hurt himself with the crack back block.
Players know what they're in for when that sort of play is called, too.
That's exactly right. It's going to be a collision, a little function to junction.
You ever call a play in the huddle and a player looks at you and says, "No, let's not do that." Come up with something else, Kenny.
Yeah, I don't want it.
Loss of 2 on the play, 2nd and 12. Sewell, number 30, and Wilhite, 47, into the lineup for Denver. The pass out here to Wilhite, and Wilhite bounces off Marcus Scott. Scott Case makes the tackle. Rick Bryan, the man applying the pressure on Kubiak. Pickup of 7 on the play.
Gary Kubiak shows you a little of his athletic ability. Watch the fake to Sewell, puts the ball behind him, then jumps in the air as he's being popped. Gets the ball out to Wilhite. Nice play on Gary Kubiak's part just to get rid of the ball.
Kubiak on in relief of an injured John Elway. Number 80, Mark Jackson, into the lineup. Natil in motion. Kubiak out of the shotgun. 3rd and 5. Kubiak underthrows Vance Johnson and knew it as soon as he let it go. Threw a 10-yard pass about 8 yards.
Low ball thrower and a high ball drinker. Here it is right here. Here's Kubiak back. He's real relaxed and throws the ball and knows he made a bad throw, and the ball made him.
So Rich Carlos has come onto the field. And having missed a 35-yarder, Carlos has made 2 in the 40s and will now attempt one from 50 yards out. On the way, and good. For only the second time in his career, Rich Carlos attempts a field goal of 50 or more yards, and for the second time in his career, he hits it.
Well, we said earlier, Dan Reeves likes the fact that he can go out and miss a couple of field goals in a row, then come back and make 3 or 4 in a row. Doesn't let the pressure bother him, does not affect it by anything other than the fact that he just has to line up, kick the ball.
Says he, like every other kicker, goes into slumps every once in a while, and they just have to kick their way out of it. He says what most every coach says, kickers are funny people.
Funny.
So the Broncos lead extended now to 30-14, and that one about put the cap on it.
I'll say so. And it's going to be awfully tough for Atlanta's offense. You get to score like this, and all they have to do now, they got to throw the ball every down. That's the only chance they got, unless they would elect to run the ball and get to 3 minutes. They've had enough injuries. Let's go home.
Tim Gordon, 41, at the 8. Breaks across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. And Sam Grady, number 83, in to make the stop. Now that all the folks have vacated Seoul, South Korea, Sam Grady knows the feeling of having won a couple of medals.
What was the 4x100 guy, I think? Silver medalist, is that right?
Gold medal
Gold
for the
medal?
4x100 team in Los Angeles at 84. Silver medalist behind Carl Lewis in the 100 meters.
Sneaking motor.
2:50 to play. And Dills under pressure and throws it over John Settle.
Oh, ouch. Ouch.
If you're wondering, should Dills go down, Hugh Millen is on the sidelines for Atlanta.
You want to be a quarterback, here's what you got to look forward to occasionally. Watch this. Simon Fletcher. Boom. Ouch.
Nobody ever showed that to you?
Oh, knocks the taste out of your mouth.
2:45 to play, 2nd and 10. The taste out of your mouth. Another snake bite. Oh, okay. There's Hugh Millen saying, I'd rather not be part of that today, thank you. Dills to throw, plenty of time this time. Guns it over the middle and hits his man just shy of the 40-yard line. 89 is Jesse Hester.
But, you know, Steve Dills, he just gets popped and gets this really hammered. He drops back, stands in the pocket, delivers the ball again. You have to admire that.
Hurry up offense now. Dills with time again. Dumps it off. Settle. Looking for the sidelines and finds it. Go.
You know, and all the problems that they've had, Greg, I think they're on the right track. We've done several of their games this year, and they've got a great young quarterback that they've rallied around extremely well. They've got 2 young outside linebackers, and Andre Bruce and Cotton. I think they have the nucleus to be competitive.
4 wide receivers now for the Falcons. Dills dumps it off for Settle again. To midfield, looking for the sidelines, didn't get out of bounds in time. Gain of 7, and the clock continues to run. And the next whistle you hear will be that of the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play. Denver 30, Atlanta 4 to play here at Mile High Stadium. Greg Gumbel and Ken Stabler. 30-14 Denver. You got to hand it to that man, number 44, John Settle. He has had himself a day.
you can consider this. Consider he and Riggs in the same backfield. As a receiver that he is, his numbers today, a touchdown receiving, 1 running also, and you put him in the backfield with Riggs, put Chris Miller back there and keep that group healthy with Stacey Bailey and Floyd Dixon, a good offensive line, good young linebackers. Give them a couple of years.
For Settle, 124 yards and a touchdown rushing, 46 yards and a touchdown catching the ball. Something to that clean living.
Pardon me?
Dills with plenty of time will go for it all. Stacey Bailey intercepted. Jeremiah Castile. In his 6th year out of Alabama.
Well, it's only a matter of time. But, you know, you look at the pass play. I don't know if we'll see it or not, but looking at the pass play, the ball was underthrown. If he lays the ball out there good, the ball is probably a touchdown. Here's the play right here. Deals back in the pocket. He gets good pass protection. Now, watch the ball. The ball is a little underthrown. Gives Castile time to make up some ground. See, the receiver has to stop, slow down, wait for the ball. That's Stacey Bailey. And the interception. Right here, watch the receiver. See the receiver stop, slow down, have to come back. Little underthrown.
No doubt at all, Stacey Bailey had a good 3 or 4 yards on him.
And as opposed to throwing the ball further, throw the ball quicker. Get the ball in the air a little sooner.
The pitch for Sammy Winder gets out of his end zone. And I'll tell you who's been awfully quiet on the Atlanta defense today is #1 draft pick Andre Bruce.
He really has. And I'll tell you one reason he has been, I think, because the Denver Broncos line up in that formation where they split out those big tight ends, Clarence Kay and Orson Mobley, and they come back in and they crack back and they bring a load when they come back in there. And that's the way to slow a young rookie down, is pop them good.
I want to remind you, coming up tonight here on CBS, Broncos look to run out the clock. Falcons look for a turnover. And jumping the gun in a hurry is number 94, Charles Martin. We'll see if he jumped on his own or if he was pulled.
Encroachment, number 94 on the defense, still 2nd down.
Charles Martin, of course, had that infamous day as a Green Bay Packer when he slammed dunked Jim McMahon.
Yeah, he and Jim McMahon don't have a drink socially.
2nd and 4 following the penalty. Ball out now to about the 8-yard line. Dorsett loses his footing as he approached the line of scrimmage. And the clock continues to run as we approach 1.5 minutes to play here.
Well, I think that guy right there, Greg, has to be one of the bright spots. Tony Dorsett, if you look at good things for Denver this week, gains close to 100, may have gone over 100. 17 carries, 86 yards, I understand, from our sharp statistician we have up here. And that has to be one of the bright spots. The way he's played, Gary Kubiak coming in and playing well at quarterback for the injured John Elway. One thing I think they have to be concerned with is they haven't played the rush very well, but they have kept them out of the end zone.
3rd and 2 as we come up on 1 minute to play. Calvin Thomas replaces Dorsett in the backfield. And Winder gets the call. Winder comes up short. Doesn't come up short. 1st down. Will take this opportunity with an injury to his right leg. X-rays were taken. The diagnosis, sprained right knee, sprained right ankle.
Oh, boy, my favorite play. The old win the game play. I love that one.
The Stablerism.
I ran that as good as any of them.
And that'll do it. Should the New Orleans Saints go on to defeat the Seattle Seahawks, and they led by 8 in the 4th quarter, the Denver Broncos will share the lead in the AFC West at 4-3.
That ever-present cliche, he will be evaluated, John Elway, on a day-to-day basis. I'd be very surprised if he plays next week. But the one guy who will play and played today and played well coming back from the broken collarbone is Mark Jackson. The three amigos are back.
The three amigos are here to stay. No, I don't know. Yeah, it felt good out there being just to play, and the touchdown was icing on the cake, I guess.
Were you a little leery till you got the first couple of hits today with that coming back from the injury?
Yeah, I was a little tentative because you just don't know when when you have a broken bone and you think it's healed, and I really didn't have the full range of motion in it, and it got a couple hits and shuck it off, and it didn't really bother me very much.
You know, Atlanta, a 1-5 team, kept hanging around. They didn't look like a team that only won one game.
That's something that we expected from the onset, and they've played some tough opponents, and they seem to play better away, and we knew if we didn't get them down, they were going to stick around, and after 7-7 halftime score, we knew what we had to do the second half.
Okay, thanks, Mark. And we're going to try and grab Gary Kubiak here. We can move over here. Coobs, you were ready, weren't you?
Well, I don't know. I felt pretty darn rusty, but, you know, fortunately some good things happened, and defense made some big plays, and we got it done.
Tell me about the touchdown pass to Sewell.
Well, they had been really squatting out there, you know. Matter of fact, on the play John got hurt on, we ran right by him. You know, they were giving us the deep ball, and Dan said, hey, let's go up top. And when I took the snap, I saw Steve beat him off the line of scrimmage, so tried to get it to him as quick as possible and made a good catch, and, you know, that was nice to see.
You've been on an emotional elevator this week. Your son born was in critical condition. He doing okay now, is he?
Yeah, he's doing good. It was rough, but he's doing well. He's off the oxygen. He's going to have to spend about 7 or 8 days more in the hospital, but he's fine, and my wife's fine, and all's well that ends well.
You're going to start next week, you think? Are they giving you word on John?